when I was choosing which films to do for my 31 Days of Horror this Halloween, there was a lot of discussion, pretty much amongst me and my better half, and just thinking about what I wanted to do. It helped kind of structure the way that I was going to pretty much do this whole thing, and the way I wanted to take this in a different way than I normally do it. So I chose as a first film, and I was always going to choose one by the director Jess Franco. The reason for that being is that if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love movies. Movies are my passion. It's not just I'm not like some people that just like to collect movies or have movies in there just to say that they have these movies or have this movie. No, for me, I love the art of filmmaking. I love films. I love everything that goes, behind the scenes, the directing, the writing, the producing, the whole thing. And needless to say, I watch movies over and over again, basically for enjoyment. And enjoy even like deconstructing the films. And that's why I decided to choose Jess Franco as my first choice as a director for the 31 Days of Horror. Because basically, Jess Franco was like that. He was so obsessed with the art of filmmaking itself that he didn't stop to like polish off movies the way that many directors would. There's a lot of directors that'll talk to you about how much they like making movies, but they haven't actually made a lot of movies. They love, they'll get into the movie that they make, and they'll get into the technical aspect of it. And I think this is one thing that I really love about Jess Franco is he's made a lot of movies. We're looking at like somewhere close to 180 films. So how can somebody make that many movies? Well, basically, Jess Franco was all about making the film. The post production part of it, he did not care a lot about. But as the film was being made, and a lot of great directors are like that. Hitchcock himself was bored like halfway through making a film because all the stuff that he had to that he decided on making all that was done. So there was no more fun in it. Just Franco, the whole idea was the fun of making the film, of having it. It was just getting it done. It was like kind of a visceral feeling that he got from just making these movies, and that's why he would make movie after movie after movie. And not everyone, is measured the same. A lot of movies, when you're making so many movies so fast, uh, there's going to be some the fallout. Now, is She Killed in Ecstasy, the movie that I'm talking about tonight, is this a movie that is a genius work by Jess Franco, or is this one that is more a product of a fallout making movie after movie? Either way, we know one thing, that it was a film that was done with a lot of passion. And when I come back, we're going to talk about She Killed in Ecstasy, not just a Jess Franco movie, but a Soledad Miranda movie. And if you don't know who that is, you're going to find out because this is the first day in 31 Days of Horror, and tonight, She Killed in Ecstasy. Let's discover a little bit more about this one together. And after that, by the way, I'm going to be talking about the Severin Blue as well, so we'll get into that for all you guys that want to know exactly where you can get this, if it's worth picking up, and not just for the film, but if the Blu-ray itself is worth picking up as well. So I want to do it like that. I'll be right back. She Killed in Ecstasy was made right after Jess Franco had made another film with Soledad Miranda called Vampires Lesbos, which is another one that I'm thinking about reviewing here during the 31 Days of Horror. We'll see how it goes. But basically, Soledad Miranda was the muse for Jess Franco. He had met her when he'd actually done a previous film, one that was not really a Jess Franco film, one where he came in to do it. It was kind of a musical, and she played a small part, like it was a countess or contessa type of role. It was like a really small role, but he saw her, and right away he knew that this would be the girl that he wanted to make movies with. This would be the one that that he wanted to take somewhere else. Now, Soledad Miranda was a raw talent. She had not trained in acting. She had not studied in acting, but she had a certain intensity and a kind of she had that it factor. In fact, when she worked as playing Lucy with in Jess Franco's version of Count Dracula with Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee actually commented on what a great actress that she was, and how basically where the heck did he find someone like this? Uh, right away, Jess Franco had the woman that was going to be the his voice, basically the female counterpart for him on the screen. This is someone that he could do his like sad films with, someone he could actually really work, that had that kind of intensity that he needed, that had the intensity on the screen that mirrored the passion that Jess Franco had off the screen when he was like making films. Because let's not talk about Jess Franco's acting, but unfortunately that wasn't to be, because she died tragically very early. Actually, shortly after this film was made, she had just completed another film and was working on a film called Juliet with Franco when Soledad Miranda passed away. So how is she killed in Ecstasy? It's a pretty simplistic story, but that by no means, well, we'll get to that. Basically, she plays Mrs. Johnson. I kid you not, that's her name. She doesn't have a first name in the movie. And she's married to a doctor. And now he's not just like any doctor. He's kind of the type of like doctor that's out there on the cusp of things, trying to like experiment and make the world a better place. Now, in doing so, what he chooses to use, he starts out with using animal embryos, but in something that actually would be relevant right now, he actually ends up using in the end to complete his experiment that he thinks can actually make people can evolve people into a better species, one that are less resistant to sickness, mental illness, and this would be kind of like kind of ironic in a way. He uses human embryos, and the medical community, the medical board that he goes up to, that he admits at the beginning don't like him, thinks he's kind of strange. He thinks this is going to be the thing that's going to win them over. Unfortunately, it turns out to be just the opposite, and they become enraged to the point where they tell him that basically he's not going to be doing anything in medicine ever again. They're going to pretty much get him banned. They berate him, and they make him feel like crap. They tell him he's a monster. They tell him that his inventions make no sense. That is, he's never going to use it again. They talk about the working out the morality thing. We're working on human embryos, and basically, while he's away, they also send people over to his laboratory, where his wife is actually at, and off screen we find out that his laboratory's been trashed, and his wife actually been slapped around, with the rejection from the medical community, the fact that his career is now suddenly in ruins. He's been emasculated in front of his wife by what they did to him, and he really has no recourse, or doesn't see any recourse. He falls into like he pretty much has a breakdown. He has a nervous breakdown, and never really comes out of it. She tries as best as she can to get him to come out of it. And the thing is, this is an early couple. This is early on in their relationship. As you know, I'm sure if you've ever been into a relationship, the early part of that is it's extremely sexual. It's extremely erotic, and this part of the relationship, not only has he been stolen from her, but her chance with him, their sexual discovery, their eroticism, that entire like that honeymoon aspect of any relationship, it's all of a sudden that's been stolen too. And we get to see through some sequences in the film. This movie only runs 80 minutes long. That it's something that she craves, and has been such a huge part of her relationship with him. It's such a great defining factor that, but it's never gotten back. And it ends in the tragic way that all these things end. He commits suicide. We see him go into the washroom, and it's very well done. I mean, like, this is not a movie that uses a lot of blood, and even the nudity, which is in the film, is done in a really kind of like, especially for Jess Franco, this type of thing. Even though the nudity is there, it's more subdued than you'd see in a lot of his like more raunchier work later on. So now he's dead, and she pretty much is slowly losing grip on her sanity. She has kept the body with her, and again in a Norman Batesian type of way, and decides that basically these four people, these four doctors, three men and a woman, basically they ruined his career, they ruined his life, they ruined her life, and she's going to get her revenge on each and every one of them. And she does, and it doesn't take a long time for her to do it. She uses her sensuality, which is there in abundance, and she is just brilliant. She is nothing short of brilliant in this movie. Soledad Miranda has these like haunting eyes that looks through your soul, and they're dark and they're deep and they're mysterious. And so for when she was playing the vampire in Vampire Lesbos, it was perfect casting. I think it was Stephen Thrower in one of the features on here that actually said she has eyes that are much older than the rest of her, and that is so true. She has very haunting, very gothic style eyes. Think of a Barbara Steele style like eyes, and it's just amazing. Soledad Miranda is an amazing woman to watch on screen. She just has a presence there that is incredibly intense, and you just cannot stop from looking at this girl, no matter what she's doing on the screen. And if you're lucky for a horror fan and for even an erotica fan, you're getting both of that right here. The first thing she does is she seduces the first guy, Professor Walker, who's really he's an ass and pretty much the biggest ass of them all. I kind of expected him to die last. I was really surprised about that. But the biggest jerk out of them all was actually the first one to go, and kind of like a small like a scene where she and this isn't kind of tastefully, so we don't really get to see it, but she pretty much she severs the penis off screen again. But we are we're told later on, and we kind of get like a glimpse of like some blood down there. But it's never. It's very. I mean, this is done extremely tastefully, and that's the first one dead. She next seduces the female of the group, and seeing that I was actually it was kind of sexy to be honest with you, but got very silly when she has to kill her. This one is she kills by smothering her, but the pillow is one of these like kind of like these plastic pillows with kind of a see-through thing, and it's supposed. And I can see where cinematically he wanted it to work, and cinematically it does kind of work, but it still does kind of have a kind of a silly type of vibe to it. I did find this probably the most fun of the kills, just because the way that the setup is done and how she follows through, how she seduces them. This is a movie called She Killed in Ecstasy. Though we never see her like in this one get ecstatic completion. She never fully goes through with the seduction. She kills them before that happens, and that actually is it's an important part of the thing, because basically her life, her sexuality has been taken away from her because of what they did with her husband. She hasn't gotten to get that full, I guess, for lack of a better word, the little death, but the orgasm. So that's never something that's completed when she's seducing them. It's never a huge sex scene. It's just something that's started, something that's teased. It's a little bit of a dance, and with each one, it ends with their bloody demise. Even with one person who pretty much knows who she is, he saw them. Under any other circumstances, you would say he's an idiot. He should be running. He should be going with this girl. But this is Soledad Miranda, and she is so amazingly beautiful that you can't not. You cannot. You can see exactly why, despite everything he knows, despite all the misconceptions, despite all his worries and wonders and concerns, you know exactly why when you look at this girl, you can't help but go with her. Every one of these people, just like in Dr. Five, just like in all the other things, are fated to a doomed existence, as is her herself. We know that she's not going to end up anywhere good, and well, you'll find out when you watch the movie. It's a pretty straightforward film. It doesn't go for the scares so much as it goes for the just the way that the style of the film. The music in it I thought was actually pretty good. The cinematography, as always with Jess Franco, is amazing. Jess Franco casted himself in a part in the film. He does okay for the role that he has to do. Let's understand, this is not a hugely deep story. Actually, Jess Franco had kind of been gone over these wells before with the diabolical Dr. Z, uh, a similar film that Franco had done with, and I think that one was the daughter that was getting revenge. But in this one here, it's the wife, and it's Soledad Miranda. So it's an incredible film. I do recommend it. It's only 80 minutes long, and if you've never seen Jess Franco, this is a really good one to start on. It's Jess Franco would go on to do like some more hardcore type stuff, some more raunchier, sleazier type stuff, some kind of sillier stuff. But this one here really gets to show you just the atmosphere. And if you've ever seen the John Roland stuff, it's like that, but we have like a coherent storyline with this one here, and a pretty straightforward story. Nothing like overly complex or nothing that's going to blow your mind. Aside from the fact that just the way that the film itself is shot, the way that it's been structured and constructed, and the way that they've casted the film. Soledad Miranda pretty much steals up. Not pretty much, she does. She steals every second of that celluloid that she is on. And as you're watching it and you know that she has passed on and never got to do a lot of films, you're just so sad that there wasn't more that she did, because this stuff is amazing. And she has presence that's unheard of. Now the DVD Blu-ray itself, it's actually it's a special limited edition 2-disc collector's edition. Here it is right here. It's by Severin. This one here actually includes a soundtrack for 3 of these films. This film and 2 others, Vampire Lesbos, and what was the other movie soundtrack down here? The Devil Came from Akasava. Akasava would be her last film. Unfortunately, it would not be as good as the other 2 that we're talking about, which is probably the reason we have Vampire Lesbos and She Killed in Ecstasy, and you don't see The Devil Akasava being put out at the same time as well. I would like to see the remaining scenes from like the 40 minutes that were shot from Juliet as well. So if they ever put out The Devil from Akasava and they want me to buy it, put the Juliet 40 minutes on there. Find that for me and kind of cleaned up. Even if you don't clean up, I don't care. You take it out of the case, and it's like it's pure art. This film is pure art, and this the disc itself is as well. The quality of the disc is amazing. This was a movie that was done back in, when was this movie actually made? 1970. So once you put this in and you realize just what an incredible job they did, Severin should be like applauded for this one here. Disc 1 gives us She Killed in Ecstasy, an interview with director Jess Franco, The Sublime Soledad, interview with Soledad Miranda, a story on Amy Brown, and Stephen Thrower, who always tends to be like a good listen, talks about the film She Killed in Ecstasy. He wrote Murderous Passions, the delirious cinema of Jess Franco. We got Paul Mueller on Jess Franco, an interview with the frequent Franco starry-acts in a lot of his films, and we have got the original German trailer as well. When you open it up, one of the discs is actually in the but this is the CD. As you can see, I still have the Blu-ray in there, and here you see like a little kind of like looks like sort of an art card, but not only is it an art card, it actually has the track listing for the CD, so it's actually pretty cool as well. So we have 20. How many tracks is that? 24 tracks. 3 films by Jess Franco CD. I actually really want to listen to this, especially after watching the film. Of course, in the exterior we have the kind of like the slip cover, as in England they call it, the O case, and which actually makes sense for a slip film. And I have to admit, this movie was way more subdued than I actually thought it was going to be. She Killed in Ecstasy was a great start from my 31 Days of Horror. Although it did not get too horrific, it actually was a nice start, a nice kind of buffer into like some of the more intense horror that I'm going to be watching through this month. It was just one that was extremely well done, and the reason I picked it at the end of the day, because basically I have a passion for cinema that seems unquenchable, and it probably is. I'll probably be watching this stuff and listening to it and reading books on it, and like and just studying film for the rest of as long as I can. And that's what Jess Franco did. He, with filmmaking itself, he took a camera, he went out there, and he made films, and he let his passion take over, and he just made movie after movie after movie, and I'm glad he did, because Jess Franco made some amazing stuff. Not everything Jess Franco made was amazing, but the man himself was an incredible auteur, and he just, he had the passion that I want to see when I go to watch any video or any film. I want to see that passion like exude through, kind of like seep through when I'm watching a movie. I want to see, like, if I'm watching a movie and it's whether it's a horror film or an action film or a romance or a comedy, I want to see that same style of passion show through there. That it's actually someone that's loving doing what they're doing and not just doing it because they have to do it. So Jess Franco, She Killed in Ecstasy, #1 in my 31 Days of Horror. I love this movie. There was not 1 second wasted of celluloid in this one here. It was a brilliant film. Not all Jess Franco's films are brilliant. This one was. The Blu-ray has an amazing transfer. The sound is great on this one here. Wonderful special features. A great CD included as well. You go to Severin to get this one here, or a Diabolic DVD, and you should be able to find this She Killed in Ecstasy. I know that Severin is actually putting out a package of She Killed in Ecstasy and Vampire Lesbos together, and I think they put posters with them as well, which I don't have, but pretty amazing. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been my first day in 31 Days of Horror, and so hey there in YouTube land. It's time for tea right now, and for me, it's time to enjoy the afterglow of the first day of the 31 Days of Horror. Now get out there and watch some Franco. You'll be glad that you did. Tell him I sent you.